Welcome to Deep Conversation Podcast, everybody. I am your host, Ryan Stewart, and today I'm here with the very influential Jeremy Funderburk. He's a life coach, he's an author, and he's a very, very dope marketing agency owner. So, like I always do when I start with all my guests, I want you to tell the viewers about your upbringing, before you got into your field and everything else.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, brother, thank you for having me on. It's an absolute honor. It's a privilege. It's a pleasure. Upbringing, man. I hate doing like the rags to riches story because I feel like it's so cliche. I know it connects with people, but I'm gonna say we grew up. We had like basically like a 2-bedroom home, like living room that we converted into other bedrooms because there's like 7 people living in the house. Bad side of town. There was a shootout with the SWAT team in the neighborhood. Most of the neighborhood drug dealers. So and it sounds bad, but like growing up, like that's just what it was. Like I'm blessed. I had 2 parents that loved me. We struggled, but they make the best out of it. And as I grow up, just think like, man, my dad worked all the time. Like we ain't have much, but like, I got to respect him for what he did. So when I give my upbringing, I don't want it to sound bad because to me, it was still a blessing. It still helped shape and mold me. But I didn't come from, that silver spoon in my mouth. I came from a worse off area where entrepreneurship wasn't the goal, I came up and I'm in like middle school. I'm like, I'm gonna be selling drugs. I'm gonna be hanging out with the rappers. I'm gonna be playing sports, But that's how it started, man. And then I was blessed. I just always thought different. I was an artist. I loved to draw. So that eventually, by the time I hit the 2nd grade, that was starting to become more clear the path. I actually ended up getting a book on how to draw, and I kind of loved it. And those were the only books I would read back then, were how to draw books. But every year I get those books, and by the time I was in the 5th grade, I was like, I don't want to work a job. Like, I want to do art. And I remember going to my dad. I'm like 10, 11 years old. I was like, hey, I want to start networking. But I'm blessed. He took me out to some events. And then I started to develop a little bit of mentorship with some of the connections that I met. Started to get some guidance. I still didn't fully tap into that mentorship yet. Because as I started hitting high school, that's where the outside influence came up. It's like, nah, here, like, we sell drugs, we rap, you play sports. So then all that kind of started taking over for a small stint, just like 1 year. And then I was able to get myself back on path, but no college, man. Well, I don't want to say no college. I like to brag about the fact that I'm a 2-time college dropout. You combine both the times I went to college, it still don't equal a freshman year. So college was not my key.
So I want to it's kind of the similar upbringing for me. I had 2 parents that were just, they were strong-minded parents, you know what I mean? And that foundation of it was built, at an early age. But, like you said, in high school, you kind of get away, the peer pressure pulls you away from things, you know what I mean? But I thank my parents for getting us out of that environment, at a certain age, because I remember when I was younger, I got 3 brothers, you know what I mean? I remember I must have been in trouble because I was in the house and I'm looking out the window and all the kids are, they go, and my brothers, they going out to the basketball courts to play and all that kind of stuff. And I was sitting in the window and a car pulled up in front of the house. I'm just sitting in the window, just looking. And he sat there for probably 30 seconds. 4 guys come running up. I want to say probably 20 shots through the front window of his car. And at the time, I had to be probably about 10 or 11.
Wow.
So, as I'm watching, like you said, it was a very bad environment, but that's what it was. We didn't know no better. You know what I mean? It was just, that's what we knew. So then I watched them, they set the car on fire. They ran off. And that's always been instilled in my mind, but a little bit after that, we left, you know what I mean? We left, we got up out of that neighborhood, but I think that changed the mentality for me of who I was and where I could go, because unfortunately for us, we're only taught a certain amount of things, you know what I mean, coming from those neighborhoods. And you kind of cap yourself on where you see yourself going or where you can vision yourself going. So, I say that to say your brand is called Elite Minds. Mm-hmm. So explain in detail your vision for that, because when people hear, certain things, when people hear, they automatically go to one thing. So I want you to explain in detail, your vision for that.
Yeah, it's cool how that came about. And I remember me and my business partner, we were just like sitting down at a Panera Bread, just struggling, trying to figure out what are we going to name our agency. Mm-hmm. And now I have so much more clarity around all this stuff. But I remember we're there for maybe 2.5 hours and we're just not really coming up with anything.
Yeah.
And I remember they're closing up. You got like girls sweeping up or whatever. Mm-hmm. And my partner looks at her and goes, if you were going to name a marketing company, what would you name it? She goes, I don't know. I'm so tired. I can't even think right now. And he's like, well, I appreciate it anyway. And then it hit me. I was like, hold up. That's so typical for the average person. Like most people don't think, but when you're a business owner, you get so caught up like with everything else that you get burnt out mentally. So I was like, most of them don't even have the capacity to think about their marketing. So it was like, you don't have to worry about it. We'll do the thinking for you. We'll take all that on. So that's where the mind part start coming from the name. Mm-hmm. And we always talk about how we had an elite level of thinking. So it's like, yo, Elite Minds Marketing. Then he's like, that's all dope. Right, maybe. He was like, I'm thinking like Kingsgate. And I was like, I don't know about that. So I just hopped on Instagram, did a quick poll. Hey, we're trying to figure out what do you think is a better name, Kingsgate Marketing or Elite Minds Marketing. Uh-huh. And it was like 80-some% of people said Elite Minds. Like, it's settled.
Yeah. So why? I think I want to get into financial literacy. You know what I mean? Because I think in your marketing agency, you guys touch on a lot of those things. It's a broad thing when you're talking about that. So why do you think it's so important for people to learn about financial literacy?
It's so important, man. One, we're taught lies about money. We're not even really taught about money. And the things we are taught are lies. So it's important to know because you're always going to live to your level of thinking. And the way you think about money is going to determine how much money you make, how much control money has over you. And I think as much as people want to say money's not everything, I will argue with people that, well, if you believe that, then how about you live like that? Because I would say money controls 90%, if not more, of everybody's daily decision from, starting from the time they wake up in the morning. There's the average person their eyes just pop and like, oh, I feel like getting up right now. Mm-hmm. Or you're scared awake, literally an alarm clock. You're alarmed awake because you need to go to a job because you have to go make money. So the time you wake up is determined by money. What you eat for breakfast. Are you sitting here cooking this big breakfast every morning? Probably not. You're probably grabbing a Pop-Tart, going to a drive-thru or something so you can hurry up and get to work. So the type of breakfast you have is determined by money. Yeah. What you go to work in is determined by the money. The place you live at is determined off of what you can afford and how close it is to your job. Almost all of our decisions are made around money. What you do with the bulk of your day, the precious hours of your day. Are you exploring all your passions? Or are you on a clock working to increase to make money? money drives so many of everybody's decisions. So the level of your financial literacy is going to really determine like, hey, how does money actually affect my life? Like I'm at a position where like, usually, man, it's weird doing this today because usually like during the week, if I do a podcast at like 2:00, I will purposely sleep in until about like 1:30. Yeah. Just like we hop on the podcast and like, yo, I'm just waking up. Mm-hmm. The average person can't do that, but it's like I don't have a dollar bill controlling my schedule. So financial literacy is huge, and you have to change your thought process and your thinking there and learn the truths around it. Because if you think how you always thought, you'll get what you've always got. So you have to continue to increase your thinking and your knowledge around the subject if you want to produce a different and better result.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting too, man, because a lot of my recent podcasts, I have real estate agents on, I've had credit brokers on, you know what I mean, and we all talked about the same thing. I mean, in this, I feel like it's something that's it's the same thing going on, you know, in schools, and you know, in schools for us, we're not taught about business, we're not taught about money, we're not taught about those kind of things. So mentally, there's a ceiling that you feel that you can only get to. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, you just saying that we're, you know, mentally, you know, every little thing is about money. You know what I mean? I mean, it is, because look at how the world is. Everything is digitally moved now. You know what I mean? It's, to me, I feel like cash is going to be going by the wayside, because everything is, you know, now they're moving into the crypto. You got the credit cards and all this kind of stuff. The dollar bill has no weight at all anymore.
It's crazy. And me and my wife, we still do the envelope system, which most people would be like, what, y'all? Yeah,
I know, like, me and my wife too.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, to this day, I'm like, because I don't want something to come up and I just get reckless with my money, and then you lose it all. Like that's not the play. So yeah, we always have cash. And it's crazy because like I'm not going to impulse buy. Like I have a phone case that holds one card in it. I don't keep a lot of money on my card. I'll put everything in cash. So like if I don't have those envelopes with me and I'm intentionally going to go spend money somewhere, then like I really don't even have the means to spend the money, because I'm like, I'm not going to use my card, and I don't have a wallet. I don't have anything. So I'm like, no, there's no impulse buying here. And when I do impulse buy, like a couple of weekends ago, I did on purpose just to spoil my wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what comes to mind when you hear the word invest?
Return. That's the thing. I would say, I always tell people the greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself. The second greatest investment you can ever make is in other people.
That's true. And I say that to say this because you've invested a lot of your time into your book that's called Never Work to 40. So can you talk about, as we talked about, we was texting earlier, I ordered mine. So, you know, I'm ready to dive into that, but can you dive into that and talk about that some more?
Yeah, absolutely. And if any of your viewers want the book, then, you know, I'll shoot them a special discount code, or the price of the book is going up. Like next week, it's going up. Yeah. So yeah. I'll let them keep it at the discount.
Yeah, it's moving.
But yeah, I had to write the book, and I know the title is like so controversial. Like my best friend read the title. He's like, that doesn't even sound believable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you know me.
Yeah.
But it's never worked to 40. You know, why are you selling 40 hours of your week, 40 hours of your soul, like every single week for $1 bill? It doesn't even make sense to me. And like I tell people, like I don't even remember the last time I worked a 40-hour month, let alone a 40-hour week. So it hit me back. It was back in October, actually. Me and my wife just living life. Like we traveled 3 times. The first week we went to St. Louis, Missouri. The next week we're in Houston, Texas. The next week we were here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then the next week we were at Disney. So we're on 3 trips, 6 flights. That entire month I worked less than 10 hours. And I still made over $20,000 that month. And I was talking to somebody about it, and they're like, hold on, what? They're like, you made how much this month? And I'm telling them, they're like, but bro, like you've been traveling the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because like to me, like in the circles I'm in, like 20,000 a month is like, it's disgusting to them. It's like, that's it. Like that's it. Like, that's not even candy money. That's nothing. But it hit me talking to the average person, like that is a lot, because I've been totally self-employed for like the past 2.5 years. Like this is all I know. And it hit me. I was like, man, well, back when I worked corporate, I was working 40, 50 hours a week to make 35, 40,000 a year. I was like, in 1 month, I worked less than I worked in a fourth of a week to make half of what I would make all year. And that's like, I need to put this in a book where I can teach people the mindset behind that. And then the like step-by-step blueprint how-to on how I was able to build a life that I love, to live a life by design instead of by default.
So when you building your brand, when you started building your brand, you have to have people who've taught you and talked and mentored you along the way. So who have been those influential people for you?
The first guy is a guy named Steve Long. He's one that got me into reading books and everything. Still like my best friend to this day. So it started with, I would say it started with my big brother Wally. He was, when I was doing art, he was one of the guys that I went to that first networking event, and he's just always been that big brother in my life. And I was blessed that while going through school, he was working for the city, and I saw them have big layoffs, and he got caught up in those layoffs. And instead of him saying, hey, I'm gonna go get a job, he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep grinding doing art, and I'm gonna let this pay my bills. So looking back now, that was huge, because I got into entrepreneurship when they had layoffs, and I made that same decision. So now at this moment, I'm realizing I probably had even more of an impact on me than I realized to see him do that. But so Wally, Steve, and then like first coach I ever paid for was a guy named J.R. Reeves. Just did a shout out post to him about that yesterday on my social.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
it's just crazy because he's actually a year younger than me. And I think so many people, they try to look at age when they're trying to find a coach or a mentor. Meanwhile, I'm just looking at results, So I remember being like just starting to learn from him, and I'm at a mastermind. It was like 4 hours away, and I was like, bro, like I'm in North Carolina. He's gonna be in Atlanta to guest speak at a mastermind. I was like, bro, I drive 4 hours just to grab coffee with you. I don't even drink coffee. He was like, bro, just come to the mastermind. It's only $1,500. Jeez, mastermind, like 2 days though. Like I gotta talk to my wife about this. Like, hey, I know we ain't got no income right now, but I need to invest $1,500 to a mastermind, and we gotta travel, and we gotta get a hotel. But my wife's the most supportive person ever, so she's like, yeah, as long as I can come with you. So to this day, I've yet to go to a mastermind my wife hasn't come.
I think that's important too, man.
It was huge. It's so huge. So I go to that mastermind. It's 4th of July weekend. Like we're just hanging out. Like this man has not worked at all. And I remember going to him like, hey, JR, pull up your Stripe account. How much money you made today? Just teasing with him. And he goes, all right, you want to see it? Pulls it up. I'm like, bro, you made $8,600 today? We've literally been goofing off all day. You ain't worked. Like, how you make that? By the end of the day, he had made 16 grand. And I was like, bro, you didn't even work today. So I'm like, yo, anything you tell me to do, I'm doing it immediately. So it started with him. And then I started investing in some other mentors, coaches, some I lost money on. But Myron Golden, Nehemiah Davis, those are the guys I'm heavily studying right now. And their masterminds are ridiculous. We're about to invest 65 grand into Nehemiah's mastermind. And then in a couple of months, we'll invest 155 grand to Myron's mastermind.
Yeah, see, so it's the one thing I've learned, I have a team that I work with, and call ourselves Original Color Collective, and here in Delaware, we're starting to work with, we've been working with, we want to put a lot of different artists on, whether it be, drawing, or whether it be, musicians, whatever it is, just give them, highlight them, you know what I mean? Because it's so hard nowadays. And what I'm learning is the company you keep is exactly the people, or exactly how far is you going to go. You know what I mean? So all of your minds together, you have to, and we always talk about it, you have to have, you got to be around people smarter than you. You have to. Yeah. I mean, it's a necessity. That's the only way you're going to grow, because the Bible says iron sharpens iron. So 100%. if you can't learn from the people you're around, you have to get away from them, even if it's family. That's one of the hardest things to do too, when it's family. But when you understand some certain things, if they're not elevating you, you gotta get away. You do.
Got to. So it's true, because man, a little bit. I'm going to go see my cousin, and I'm the guy, like, I don't go to the family reunions, like I don't do family events, because I know it's going to pull me down. You're the average of 5 people you spend the most time with. So I don't want you dragging me down to your level. If you're not constantly moving forward, I don't want to spend time with you, period. But I'm like, I haven't seen him in a while. He was my favorite cousin. Just got his new house and everything. And he like invited me and like 2 of his groomsmen over. So I'm like, man, nobody else get this invite. So I was like, all right, well, this has to mean something to him. So I'm like, all right, I'll make an appearance. No, I'll see whatever I can do to add value. And then he sends a text the other day, and he's like, yeah, I just got snacks and I got hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm grilling, but you got to bring your own liquor or other substances if you want to. And I say, oh, it's one of those type of get-togethers. This get-together starting at 3. Bro, I got a meeting at 4. I'm going to come in, make an appearance. Hey, I actually got a meeting I got to get to. I just want to come say, hey, what's up? But yeah, I got to go.
And it's sometimes it has to be like that. Now, you were talking about your, you being a life coach, a coach. I want you to get into that and talk about some of those experiences for you.
Yeah, so we actually just launched the coaching program, and it's crazy. I have a very strong guarantee on the program. But it's called Lifestyle CEO Fast, where basically, man, I teach people to launch and scale a part-time digital marketing agency the same way I did, whether you have no experience or not. And my guarantee is I hope you get from $0 to $10,000 a month in 90 days, or I'll give you $10,000 for wasting your time. Like, I'll coach you through the whole process. You get my course so you can study on your own as well. We'll give you coaching calls, accountability calls. I'll put a whole fulfillment team together for you, so you don't have to know how to do the marketing. Someone else is going to do all that for you. I'll set you up with an appointment setter that's going to book appointments for you. My team will run your ass to generate your appointments. All you really have to do is just come up with the name of the business, choose what clients you want to serve, what type of service you want to provide. Once you decide that, my team's going to do all the service, all the work for you, or at least my connections, I would say, not my team specifically, but I built that team for you, do my connections. So really all you have to do is close the deal. And I give you sales training so that way you can close the deals. I give you the scripts, the follow-ups, everything you need. It's like, yo, I'm going to set it up so you're going to have 50 to 100 appointments every single month. Sell your service for a minimum $3,000 a month, which is a no-brainer for marketing, as you know. Like if you're doing marketing for a realtor, your average commission is $7,500, and you pay somebody like Elite Minds Marketing. One of our clients, in his first 30 days with us, made $18,000 in commissions. It's a no-brainer. He paid us $4,000. a month.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, yo, he still got 14 grand of profit extra above what he was already doing. So he didn't only make 18 grand. That was 18 grand extra.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a no-brainer to charge somebody 3 grand when you can get those type of results. And as long as you can keep getting on those results, they're going to keep paying. So I'm like, even if you suck and you can only get one client a month, it's like, all right, well, if you take 100 sales calls and you can only close one of them, then that first month you still made $3,000. That person's going to pay you again the next month. And the next month you got another new client. Now you're making $6,000 a month. Third month comes, you're making 9 grand. You're 90 days in, you're making $9,000 a month. You have a 6-figure income right there.
After 6 months.
In 3 months.
Wow.
And then I'm like, all right, well, from a work perspective, all you're doing is taking phone calls, phone sales. I give you the scripts, everything, how to handle the objections. I give you all of that. So it's like a phone call, a phone sale is 30 minutes long. So if you did 100 sales calls, that's 50 hours a month. Most people working 40, 50 a week. You work that throughout a month. So it's like, what'd you do? A couple calls, like an hour a day, maybe like 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And that's nothing. It's the fun.
Yeah.
That's the best part. So you can be at the beach. Like, oh, my family going to go to the beach. Let me just go to the beach. As long as you bring your cell phone. All right, I'll take 2 calls today and that's it. And now you got lifestyle.
And you generate money.
And you're making stupid money. And you're not being controlled like we talked about at the beginning of the pod. No, what time am I going to wake up? No, like, you get to decide your decisions based off of what you want. If you don't want to take the phone call, don't take the phone call.
Yeah. Yep. And that is, and I think that's just having that freedom is just, that's so much stress off of your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? It's so much stress off your shoulders that you can, because when you think about it, the way the system and everything is, we wasn't even created to live like this and be on a job all day. You know what I mean? When God placed a gift inside of you, we were supposed to fuel that gift every day of our lives. You know what I mean? But the distractions of this job and what it is it's keeping you from. That's why so many people are bogged down with stress and upset and all kind of things, because they're not living the life that they're supposed to live. Now I want to ask you, usually when we do have goals, especially when it pertains to helping others, it usually tends to teach us about ourselves. So what's the one gem about yourself that you've come to learn and to cherish?
There's so many of them. And I'm a person, I live in so much gratitude. Like, I think what holds most people back is they don't see the greatness in themselves. So just one of my biggest strengths, I would say, is that I'm able to see that greatness in me. But one that's probably been one of the most beneficial is the fact that I am not very risk adverse at all. But only when it comes to betting on me. I will bet everything on me. Like, and I'm blessed to have my wife, because I was like, hey, I'm about to invest everything we got and go an extra $30,000 in debt to make this move. Which we went 30 grand in the hole like 5-6 months ago. Like, I was like, I made a big bet and it did not pay off yet. But now I'm in the process, like, I'm gonna make it work somehow. So that like $40,000 mistake is probably going to produce $250,000 for us before the end of the year. So I'm willing to bet on me, because I always say, make a decision, make it right. If I'm in control with it, if I made the mistake, that's my fault, which means I can fix it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to take personal responsibility for everything possible. No, I didn't know that for Elite Minds, my business partner was going to burn out and say, hey, I'm done. And he fell off. I didn't think all my reps were going to stop producing. My dad was my closer. I'm paying him more money than he's ever made. And his dad, my granddad, my hero, passed the month I make the biggest investment into the business. So I invested more into the business I've ever invested and didn't make a single dollar back. And then my whole team crumbled after that and disappeared. So I'm like, dang. So income completely stopped for months. And then I go, I'm going to make a $20,000 starter investment into this new venture and put another 10, 20,000 into it to have this team form, run, manage everything while I get myself back together. And they completely didn't produce. So it's like, yo, make the decision, make it right. I made the decision. All right, how do I fix this? What did I learn? How do I implement? How do I grow? What can I execute on right now?
See, but this is why a lot of people, but this is why you win, because a lot of people live in fear of taking those risks. You know what I mean? And, you know, one thing you were talking about, you said you went $30,000 in a hole, and a lot of people they hear that and they're like, nah, I could never do that. But I think one thing that I've learned, and I want you to dive into a little bit, is I want you to explain the difference of good debt versus bad debt.
You probably been seeing my rants.
Yeah. See, and I think it's important because a lot of people just hear the word debt and they just think debt is just, it's all bad, and it's not.
But people are thinking all debt is bad debt. No, consumer debt is bad debt. When you use debt to buy that Louis bag, when you use debt to buy whatever shoes are out now, to buy even some of these cars, like if you're using it for your business, then go for it. But bad debt is a liability. It's just taking money out your pocket. Good debt is an asset, which means it's the opportunity to put money into your pockets. So the beauty of it is most people are like, oh, I don't have the money to start a business. Somebody got the money. How about you leverage somebody else's money to start a business and then grow that business and let that business pay off the debt?
Exactly. Yep.
So I tell people like, hey, just take a quick drive today. Go look around, look at these buildings, look at these stores, look at all, like none of those companies were started off of, oh, I just been saving my money up for years. And they all use debt to open up those locations. So there's debt all around you.
And they were all risk takers, like we were just talking about. And they didn't allow the fear to stifle them and cripple them into being who they really wanted to be. Now, we're halfway through 2022. What are some of the goals that you have for yourself and your business moving forward?
So it's cool. Just on April 26th, we launched Lifestyle CEO Fast. By the end of July, I hope that the plan is to grow that to $120,000 a month in revenue. And then we're just going to go from there. The goal is to do at least 500,000 in ebook sales this year. By the next couple of months, I'll probably stretch that to 1 million. But more importantly, before this year ends, I want to help 150 people have 6-figure lifestyle businesses. That's how I'm going to judge my success this year, is by how many people did I help accomplish what I've accomplished.
That is dope.
So that's the big goal.
Yeah. That's dope, man. Where can they find you on social media?
Oh man, you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook, Jeremy Funderburk, or you guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Real Jeremy F. If you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok. Like the growth there right now is just ridiculous. Yep. And like I'm launching a test ad. We're 1 day into it for my ebook. Every $1.90 of advertising, somebody's clicking on that book. The reach is, I've spent $50 and we reached over 10,000 people. And that's an underperforming ad. The first $13, nobody saw it because my team launched the ad at 12:30 a.m. And it was set for the day before. So the way social media algorithms work is, oh, we're supposed to spend $50 yesterday, but we didn't. So let's go to use up that budget. So try to spend all the money immediately and show it to almost nobody. So it's like, no, y'all wasted my money to cut that ad off. I'm glad I saw it because my team did not see it.
Dang. Wow, that's deep. Look, man, I want you to know I appreciate you for jumping on my podcast, man. It's been such a pleasure. The information that you've given today is going to be so helpful for so many different people. And again, I can't thank you enough. You know what I mean? You've been, like we were talking about before we started the podcast, we was on here talking, and I said that just the influence that you have on people is, you know, it's only going to grow so much more. You know, you again, you know, sky's the limit for you. You know what I mean? It's you know, everybody go check out Elite Minds and check out everything that he has going on. And again, Jeremy, I thank you, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Am I able to shout out the book?
Yes.
Awesome. Because not everybody has the money to invest into my coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
But neverworktheforty.com. You can get the ebook. If you want the audio book, you can click to get the audio book as well. But that's the best way, because in that book, it's a step-by-step blueprint on how to build a lifestyle business, whether you're going to digital marketing space or not. I've had people that's in the trucking space, the apparel space, and real estate all come to me like, yo, like this is like life-changing. Like this is changing my business.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what you do, you can apply the concepts. The principles are the same. Principles never change.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check out the book, neverworktheforty.com. It's packed full of substance in there. So yeah, neverworktheforty.com. Never work the number 40.com.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you.
You're on YouTube, baby.